Welcome, 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 everyone, to Adventures into a Late Reality. As we have taken care of the stream gremlins, whooped them with a wooden spoon, boiled them in ancestral soup, and spread them all over the land. Thank you, everybody, for waiting. We are in a little bit of a scenario. We had to rush, 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 rush. But in our rushing process, we want to thank everyone that is there, everyone that is waiting. Charlotte, Charles, Kyle, Stephanie, Ken, Judy, A. Lily, Elliot, Lynn, Susie, Adele, Andre, Kurt, Guest, Rainbow, Dirk, Ryan, Gary, Guest, Sophie, Connie, April, Edelov, Manapua, and guest, some more. Welcome, everyone. Let's go to our first caller on Adventures into Reality. April, Edelov, Manapua, and guest. How are you doing today? You got to turn off your radio. Oh, that was us. Hello, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Hey, what's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Sammy.
Hi. And you're calling from Quebec?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. All right, big difference. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you so much.
So what questions do you have to ask today?
Well, I've got some personal issues that I've been trying the last couple of years to get rid of physically. It's a long-term candida. I have energy problems. Gut, from the gut, I can tell. Itching ears that I think is related to it, but no matter what I do and how much I detox or sit in the sauna or revocations, I just can't seem to get on top of it through a blockage.
So
I wondered if you could help me with that.
So you were saying you had a candida issue before. Did you have a bout with alcohol or high sugars and carbs?
I never did too much alcohol, but I do think I'm an allergic person to it because when I do alcohol, I would even black out after one or two drinks. So, definitely there's an issue there, but I never really abused it. So I think I just grew up with that. Maybe I got Native American blood. I don't know.
No, if you're blacking out from one or two drinks of alcohol, you have borderline diabetes or hypoglycemia at a high level. And as I'm scanning you, there are a lot of issues going on with your endocrine system. When's the last time you actually been to a doctor for a full checkup?
I don't do doctors.
Well, you got to suck it up, Buttercup, and go because you're not doing well. I'm serious. You are putting your life at risk by not going to a doctor and checking out what's going on. You may have some serious things going on with your gallbladder also. So one of the reasons you can't beat the candida is you can't convert the sugars, and the candida is taking all of your energy. There is a product out there called Colorex with a K. It is the only product out there that eliminates candida within days, not years. But you need to go see a doctor. You have a whole bunch of things that are going on in you that you a little bit of a spiritual ego going on right now, thinking you can handle anything. Okay? No, but if I were to put you on an airplane right now at this exact moment with a parachute and say, you've got 10 seconds to figure out if you're going to jump or not, would you do it?
I suppose I would. I don't know.
Well, this is what your choices are like. It's like all of a sudden, every choice that you made, you have 10 seconds to make and you rush your choice. And this is what the ego is doing, making you not even realize that you're rushing your choices. Not giving them thoughts, not following through, communicating with other friends who might have said, hey, go see a doctor. You're in a tough situation where only you can get out of this. Only you. I can give suggestions and recipes and concepts, but it'll only be you that actually does the actions. It'll be only you that follows through with the sacred discipline, and it'll only you that will have aha moments discovering the programs of self-defeat.
Okay, thank you so much.
I got one more thing to say to you is, after you go to the doctor, when you go to the doctor, I want you to a little piece of rubber band around your wrist, and every time you want to fight or tell the doctor what to do, you got to snap that rubber band, because that is your ego your spiritual ego and your shadow, driving you down a path of self-destruction.
Okay.
Okay?
Think I can make some spiritual headway after that?
I think
been
you're
really
going to
trying.
begin a journey into healing yourself, and that you are going to have a big awakening into you've left it gone too far.
Think I can affect others in a positive way once I get this going?
I can't look that far into the future until you've actually followed through with choices that aren't self-defeating. Because Monday can come and you could wake up full of piss and vinegar and not do it. You could be mad at me for telling you the truth, or telling you my point of view that is too hard for you to accept Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. And 5 months later, when you are crippled and broken down, you might go.
No, I appreciate everything you say. I'm going to listen. Thank you so much.
All right. So one last thing. When it comes to the contract revocations, if you are not smiling and having fun doing them, stop doing them.
Okay.
This is tailored for you. Okay? Tailored, so everyone else that's out there, this is tailored for her. If you cannot actually smile and have fun reading them, you have to stop doing them. And the majority of whatever other techniques you are doing, if you're not smiling and having fun, you need to go into points of personal introspection and determine, why can I not have fun doing these?
Okay, thank you.
And what you're going to uncover is a deep, deep repression, depression program there that says you're not worthy. You're not valuable enough of passing on to the next level. I think you are, but it's only until you believe in yourself that much. All right, darling, I got to move on to the next caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right.
Okay, next caller is from Melbourne area. Victoria.
Melbourne, Australia. Are you there?
Hi there, Andrew.
How you doing today?
I'm really well, thank you. I wasn't expecting to be chosen, so that's really lovely.
Here you are. What is your name?
It's Tanya.
Hello, Tanya. How you doing today?
Hello. Very good, very good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We dealt with our technological gremlins, and now they have been turned into ancestral soup. So how can I help you today?
Well, I've just got a question just regarding just ancestral things and things about womb area and patterns and just history repeating itself, I guess. Okay. And yeah, I wondered what you could see within what's going on for me, and yeah.
So every now and then we have radio shows where I've got to edit for radio, but since this is my own stream and YouTube, so I'm going to break a little rules here. You've got a lot of sexual distortion in your frequency that has started at a very young age.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? And
yeah.
You were a co-creator with that, as well as not a willing co-creator with that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of, let's say, energetic scars on the inside of your womb, where some of your dream times that had astral sex and physical sex stuff began to create a distortion in your womb frequency. Are you trying to get pregnant?
Not at the moment, no.
Did you before?
No, I'm just thinking about the future, and obviously I'd like to clear the womb space for, in preparation for that.
And is that within a year, 2 or 3 years?
Within probably the next year, yeah.
And did you find somebody that is the right person?
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting married in 3 months.
In 3 months. How long ago did you meet him?
About 7 years ago.
Okay. And did it take that long to, put the ring on your finger, or was it just one of those natural evolutions?
No, it was interesting. When we met, we were both in different relationships, and yeah, so it was about 6 years into that. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, because we've been together for 3 years, so we've known each other for I think 8.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been quite an interesting way of evolution in our relationship, but we're together and we're happy. There is some little bits and pieces that are a bit complex, I guess, because of the way not together.
So I'm going to go into a flow about clearing your womb. So how old are you?
I'm 32.
And when were you born? What date, what month?
October, the 19th of October. So I'm nearly 32.
All right, just give me a second to scan here. All right, so is your partner spiritual and willing to do work with you?
Yes and no.
So the
But
real
he would be
answer is no. You'd have to really twist his arm, and he wouldn't really understand what you're asking him to do.
Oh no, he would get it. He would get it. He's on board with.
So
with
then
my spiritual.
why is there a no to that?
I think he struggles to really believe. I think you need to really believe.
So
when
you
it
you,
comes to-
you won't be able to be able to do this with your partner unless he believes.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is describe something for you that you do need a partner to help yourself go through this. Because this is years of distortion that's built up, that as you're going to have many emotional moments where you will need that hand and that touch to help you go through it.
Okay.
Okay? My first recommendation for you is to find a cranial sacral therapist. Okay? And you're going to need about 3 to 4 sessions of full-on occiput release, which is the very back of your skull and your mandible. Your jaw is fully 1.5 inches out of line to the right. All of the tension in the left side of the jaw, the muscles in the inside of the jaw over here are built up like, bodybuilders, which is causing a major distortion in your atlas and axis. And this is one of the reasons you are having a very difficult time really clearing any frequencies in you, because all this stuff that's coming out of your brain and going down to the inside of your spinal column is getting reduced right there, right by the position of the mandible. Now, as I go further down the spine, I see, did you get into some fights?
No.
Well, you've got wounds on your ribs, on the side of your hip. Were you athletic?
Yeah. Well, I run and I do a lot of exercise.
Well, similar to the other caller, you do need to take a look at your body. You don't need to immediately go to a doctor, but you need body work, period. Separate of the clearing of the womb. So as I go into the womb area, I think the first thing for you to understand is the end of the old and the beginning of the new. So I want you to see this as this coming eclipse until the 21st of December is your clearing out of the old ritual ceremony. And it's not a one-day thing. It's something you got to do as many days as you can personally do between now and the 21st of December. And if you set aside 3 days a month, between now and then, you should have 12 1 to 2 hour ceremonies where you're going to be reading the shaman's death, the union and communion collective consciousness, right? The divine masculine and the divine feminine as a setup to make a sacred frequency where you will be able to go into your own inner energies and begin to draw up your story. So the sexual distortions are many men's energy are in your field. These are even people that you've not had relations with. All of the old people that you've had relations with, you need to break every cord, cut every contract, vow, and agreement as part of that sacred ritual of being the divine feminine who does have a bonded mate, so that you can bring through the right and perfect child without the soup of other people's creation.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do these 12 ceremonies, including the body work, using those contract revocations, and actually begin to talk about your life history, what you wanted to, this is where having a partner helps. If not, you have to do it to the energy of an alchemizing process, be it fire, big mounds of salt, something that gives you energy back for the process of telling your story. And I will say, you will have to get a bit graphic when it comes to some of these sexual distortions, meaning there was a relationship you had that really was an unsovereign relationship, but it really turned you on sexually and is now affecting you all these years later as something you want to have repeatedly done. Not that it is good or bad, it is just a repetitive habit that still has the energy of the old person that's driving it forward into the new relationship. And if that's a regular sexual process for you, that will interfere with the baby coming into the womb process. Okay?
Yeah, and do you see that as being something from a past life?
No, this life. Most of this is this life.
Oh, okay.
Okay? How many partners have you really had? You just as a number.
Not many.
Not
Around
many.
5.
Well, there's one of them there that is really, really unsovereign.
Mm.
And you got to go back and look at yourself and really go, did I suppress myself to be with this person? Did I go through a regression by living with this person and being with them? Was I rebelling to everyone else in the world by staying with this person that was an idiot?
Mm.
Those are the types of distortions you've got to begin to eliminate in your field. Okay? 5 partners is nothing. There are people out there that have 70 by the time you're your age. Right. And that's a big population of the modern world. Okay?
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with that? I can't judge. But in that volume, you're sure to get, a bunch of really haunted ones.
Yeah.
That volume level. Did you have haunted ones? Yes. That's why you're going through distortions. You have also had scenarios when you were going through your puberty process where entities from your school, non-physicals, did engage you in astral sex. You remember sexy dreams out of nowhere? I mean, every kid has them.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the things that you got to call up to the fires. You got to go back into what your fantasy life was when you first discovered that you had woman parts that can give you pleasure, just like men discovered that too. And you got to think, what was it that I was doing at that young age and unknowingness, where now I'm a little older and I've got some knowledge and wisdom, that I got to go back and look at what those habit patterns were, break the contracts, vows, and agreements, close down those fantasy worlds, kick out all the entities, and say, I cannot have fallen in love with something that isn't real. And anything that is real, that believes it loves you, is an external entity abusing you. Does this make sense to you?
Andrew, you're muted.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. As the gremlin difficulties continue today.
Sorry, you got muted inside of the conference.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
There
I
we
can
go.
hear you now.
Yes. All right. So the gremlins were going. Was what I'm saying kind of making sense to you?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I'm
Have you-
struggling.
I know. Have
Yeah.
you done any of your own sacred ceremonies? Have you been to
not just
anything?
yet. I think it's to do with the sort of ancestral, the habits passing through the womb. So, any entities or frequencies or the way that patterns happen within life, and how I've listened to many podcasts that say
See,
even
that's a lot of truth to it, and I talk a lot about it. In your situation, this is not an ancestral issue. You came in with a specific birthing contract where you've got about 6 spirits that you will accept into your womb, and you will not have another lifetime where they're not your divine, natural, co-creative choice. Because you've had hundreds of other lifetimes where the baby you gave birth to was taken by the time it was 2, you were killed by the time you were 10 years before the baby was 10 years old, just to make sure it needed the mother, and then you were born again and giving birth to people that you never were able to raise. That's why this lifetime, it's about this distortions and this one frequencies. There are many others that have ancestral stuff, and what you're saying is a lot of truth. But for you in this specific situation, it's this I am, this lifetime, coming into full sovereign power, learning as much knowledge and wisdom as they can, and beginning to clear the womb of this lifetime, so the natural divine co-creative choice of the right spirit and the right sexual position, where you and your partner have the connection of spirit and can feel the energy of the baby even before insemination process. This is known as sacred relationships. That's why you came in this lifetime.
Yeah.
You didn't come in for a slam bam, thank you ma'am, 3 kids and a white picket fence. Okay, and to be a soccer mom at 40. You didn't come in for that. You came in to raise a genius. Okay? And you will not accept anything other than a genius in your womb. And that is the setup of your contracts and why it's about the distortions this lifetime and this lifetime alone.
Yeah.
Okay? This will help you cut out all this other area of research for you. If you, like I said, for the next 3 months, solely focus on yourself and yourself alone and put aside all of the excess information, because it's true, but not application to this you having a baby. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And then the next thing is, at some point, you have to, let's just say, really engage the sexual process for yourself in a different way, where you have to begin to say what you want so that you have much longer build-ups before there is a strategy of release. It's the best way I can describe it. You need build-up. You need personal build-up. Your partner, your mate, your bonded love, your beloved has to begin acting like a beloved in the sensual process. Without direct strategy, that 19 minutes of sensual stuff leads to slam bam thank you man. You need a non-agenda sensual process that naturally creates the organic sexual process.
Yeah.
So you need to have that, long conversation with him about what I want. And if I get what I want, you're going to get what you want. Okay?
Yeah.
This will make your insemination process way easier. Way, 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 way easier. So when it comes to clearing the womb, there are a variety of personal rituals that you can do, personal guided meditations, where you see yourself as the fetus in your heart and allow yourself to go through a guided meditation where you see your own fetus inside your own heart, and then you allow your fetus to transcend down into your womb, and you see your own fetus in your own womb, and you begin to generate light from the heart into the womb, projecting the fetus into the womb as a regular cyclical guided meditation process that is designed to bring floods of light into your womb so that you can begin from the inside of your womb, observe some of the distortions, remove some of the emotional traumas, some of the minor sexual traumas or the astral traumas that you've gone through. There are also prayers that you need to begin to invoke at the Divine Sacred Feminine Warrior S process for your own journey into being the sacred feminine unconditional love warrior this lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really, really great advice. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Definitely.
I would also
Definitely.
advise that you pick up a pen and start writing a lot about concepts of sexual distortion, even if you have to use other people's relationships. Okay? Sometimes it's others it's easier to identify through others than what's in you. Okay? Just because you've had 5 partners doesn't mean you don't have distortions. You took on a lot of distortions from them, and then you have a lot of projections from other men who have you in a sexual fantasy world. Last on Thursday and on Tuesday, we had a couple callers that came in and were in the same scenario. So a lot of women have sexual projection fantasies on them. And emergence of the Divine Feminine Warrior is to push those out of your frequency, cut this contract spouse, and clear those astral dream sex spaces so that it's your frequency and your frequency alone. And this will have to be a form of spiritual hygiene. Just like you got to brush your teeth, you got to figure out a practice that rejects the sexual projections once a week, twice a week, maybe once a day for the first month until such a time you get really good at it, and then down to once a week.
Mm-hmm. but those projections, can they really impact my own?
Yes, yes, and they're impacting it right at this very moment because they are muddling the waters of what the actual child. It's instead of the pool of 6 that you want in, it's a pool of 600.
Right.
Okay, and that's 594 kids you will not ever want to give birth to. That was your soul's choice. And if you do end up giving birth to a soul that's not your choice again, life's going to go wrong for you, like it's gone wrong lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You know, you'll be, 50 years old with a child that's rebelling against you because it's got negative karma being born through you, instead of the positive karma to be a genius, to be taught to be a genius of this world with their own divine co-creative choice and not being imprinted by idiot parents that never got out of mediocrity. Clearly, you're out of mediocrity. Now you got to strive for superiorness in your side yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Great.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got one more thing to say to you. This may be a little bit to chew on for a while, but as being an athletic person, there are times that you need to stop the athleticism and redirect it into personal spiritual development. Even if that means you got to put on 5 or 10 pounds. And this may really challenge your own personal vanity programs. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, how often are you working out and exercising?
Every day, but I cycle to work every day, so that's sort of.
And how
yeah,
far do you cycle?
It's probably altogether about 16 kilometers.
So you're in a high form of cardio workouts. I'm going to be blunt. You got to stop that. If you really want to take care of yourself, you need to redirect some of that athletic energy into personal development.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
It is driving your focus to something that isn't going to give you any resolution right now. And I tell people all the time they got to get up off their couch and do stuff. And you, it's the reverse. You've been doing too much. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Take the bus to work. Take that 25 minutes on the bus instead of whatever time it takes to ride into work, to think and contemplate. Read a book. Have somebody drive you. Take that stress away of having to ride your bike in and out of traffic and all that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you don't need to stop it for permanently, just for, let's say, the next 3 months. So you can have a different point of view as you begin to ride your bike again. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, darling. Thanks for calling in. We're going to move on to the next caller.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, our next caller is from Corrine from Sherwood Park area.
Kareen from Sherwood Park, are you there?
I am. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good, good. This is my first time, so I guess I did it right.
Well, ring-a-ding-ding, first-time caller. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good.
I guess my first thing would to kind of be asked on a physical level. I've got extremely bad tendonitis, like to the point sometimes it hurts to brush my teeth or lift a fork, or is it just physical or is it more than physical?
What did you do for a job most of your years?
I was an accountant and then a mom.
So how many years were you an accountant?
10.
And then you became a mom?
Yeah.
So I want you to visualize how many times you had to pick your kids up and hold them with the one arm.
A lot.
There is what caused your damage.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So, when is the last time you've had somebody do body work on you?
I do a lot. I've been doing the cranial, and I do massage, and I do chiropractor. I've tried acupuncture, but when you're scared of needles, it's not really the best thing for you.
So when you said you've tried cranial, how many times have you had it done?
I've been doing it since April.
Okay. And what are they doing when they're doing cranial on you?
I don't really know. It's just, it doesn't feel like much, but just kind of their hands moving along. I only had one where they did the inner mouth work and then she moved away and I haven't found another one.
All right, so you need to have mouth work every session. And you need to find
Okay.
out what level your cranial sacral person is at. So you need to find a cranial sacral advanced.
Okay.
Okay, and then you got to tell them about your arm. So the whole point your arm is tense is because you've torn muscles in it when you had your kids. Every mother has that. It's a matter of how it heals, how the fascia around it goes. So anytime you're having elbow, forearm issues, it always relates to your deltoids and triceps every time. So there's a tear in your deltoid and a tricep, and on your right and left shoulder both have tears in the rotator cuff. But that's common for being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then how many sessions would you say you've had?
Oh, 20, 25, quite a few.
Since April?
Yeah.
So what are you going 4 times a week? 4 times a month?
Couple times a week.
Okay. So yeah, I need to find out the level of them, and you're going to make sure they need to do intraoral work every time. And you need to begin asking them in mid-treatment, what are they doing? Can you work on this spot? Can you add to this spot? A lot of times when cranial sacral people is, what they're trying to do in their myofascial release is to actually loosen the shoestrings that are all over you so that you have physicality back, so that you have cranial pulse back. You've got a good form of cranial pulse going, but there are other things that are going on in your frequency right now. I'll be blunt. You've got a very major wall of depression that's behind you that you are trying to cover up to everyone else.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't even know if you see it.
I've had moments of thinking it, but I didn't really think so.
I look at it and I say that denial's a river in Egypt for you right now.
Okay.
Okay? And because this is a public show, I kind of have to edit for radio, but I think you're in a state where you need to no longer allow the river in Egypt to be defining denial. And that through your lifetime, you have gone through some really hard times. You were depressed. There were very few people to really help you through those problems, and you needed to solve it on your own. Unfortunately, you made some choices at a young age that are still affecting you this day.
Mm-hmm.
I think you are very depressed. So depressed that you've created a program to cover it up. And I think that began right around when you were 17, 18, 19. What really happened to you in that era of your life?
Nothing in particular that I can put my finger on.
I bet you if you actually go back into your memories, you will discover that there was some very harsh times in there that you've covered up, as well as 28, 29, 30, and some other eras in your life where you have absolutely covered up your ability to even see the harm and damage that you were going through.
Okay.
Okay? This is going to call for some serious self-introspection, self-reflection. And you're going to discover lots of things coming up. I think the most important type of treatment for you now is going to be past life regression, where you get hypnotized, reduced to a trance state, and then there's a list of questions about this lifetime and other lifetimes, why you're dealing with the depression at this level.
Okay.
Okay?
So would that sort of bring to light and then give me a way to deal with this then?
Yeah, it's going to help you on your discovery process, as well as letting some of that, a good portion of it go. Think of it like a big avalanche of shit that comes out of you. And then, there's another side of the mountain that's got another avalanche. The mountain's got 4 sides to it. And if you can get 3 sides and an avalanche on the last one, it isn't really about an avalanche, really. It's about piece by piece, lie by lie that we've created within ourselves and rebranding who you are, what you are, without depression as the signature frequency that's driving forth your hologram right now.
Okay.
Okay. Also, how many kids do you have?
3.
Okay. How old are they?
18, 17, and 15.
So, what's going on with the 15-year-old?
She's just difficult personality.
Well, she's
Came in the
about
world like that.
she's about to have a major meltdown, a life-altering meltdown, and she going to need a lot of love to get through that meltdown. Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is where you gotta have to step out and step up and have a full-on suck it up buttercup moment, and deal with that daughter and that daughter alone, and have to have conversations with the other two that I need your help. Okay.
Is this something that has started already?
Yes, a couple years ago.
Okay.
It's not drugs.
that-
It's not drugs. It's severe emotional issues being projected at her by people in her school. Drama that's affecting a 15-year-old mind horribly. Horribly, horribly. There might even be a school change coming up.
Okay.
Okay.
A specific incident started, or?
Well, in school, it's very easy to publicly humiliate people in these modern eras.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a violent group of girls at that school who regularly publicly humiliate people, and she's just terribly worried until the next time it's my time. Okay? And she has gone through public humiliation before in that expression through the internet. And some other situations that are going on that are, you don't know. Okay? It's fine. You're a mom. That happens. So I think you need to get her to a counselor. Okay?
Okay.
And now you said there was an 18-year-old too?
Yeah.
And what's their situation?
She's in her going to be going into her second year of university in sciences. She's not really sure what she wants to do.
And is she still living at home?
Yeah.
Where's she going to school?
At the university here in Edmonton.
Let me scan a second. What were her grades like in high school?
She had good grades.
I would really encourage you to talk to her about going to overseas to university. London, France, Sweden, Spain. Really, really have a sit-down talk with her and tell her to get out of the country for a year and go study somewhere else.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of ancestral karma that she graduates here without seeing the rest of the world, that she'll end up pregnant with 4 kids by the time she's, 27, and be trapped that way and never see the world.
Do you see anything in particular she should study?
Life. Okay, life first. Just studying somewhere else instead of the local city you grow up in is vital for her. Vital. Absolutely vital. As for areas of study, I will say that the medical field, be it spiritual medicine, allopathic or homeopathic medicine, would do that girl wonders at soul evolution. But she's got to choose it out of her own perception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay. Well, I don't think she would argue with going overseas.
No, she won't. But she probably never really
No.
expect it coming out of your mouth.
No, she wouldn't.
And that's the key here. Just drop it on her like it's a hot potato. Get her excited. Really, really excited. Because that's what she needs now.
Good. Okay, well, that's very helpful.
And you said there's a 15-year-old too?
Yeah, boy.
how? Let me scan a second. Oh, he's doing good. Got a little bit of issues with women growing up, but every 15-year-old has that.
Well, he's got 2 older sisters, so.
Yeah. So if you begin to notice, male pig behavior that's normally not him,
Uh-huh.
you know, every guy goes through their pig stage.
Yep.
Be very careful with how you deal with him. Try not to clip his wings back and just call him an ignorant male fool. Okay? And help him understand that people are imprinting things that aren't really real in the world out there. Okay?
Right. Okay.
And is he doing a lot of video games?
Yeah.
What level is he doing? Is he like a lot?
I don't really know because I don't really like those games. So I think he's average. I don't think he's a superstar at it,
But you don't really know.
but I don't really know.
It's time you figured out.
Okay.
And that's part of your depression that has kept you uninvolved into that. Okay?
Yeah, that whole world kind of has always bothered me with the computer and the games.
Find out. Now, several weeks ago, I had a caller that had a child that was really big into video games, and I told her that this kid should be doing professional video games and making money at it. Do I think your son has the potential? Yes, I do. But you don't know that in any way, shape, or form. And until you see how good or how bad he is, if he's just doing it in entertainment, you won't be able to give him the encouragement that goes to the next level. Or the encouragement to go do high school wrestling or join the football team or join the marching band and discover music. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, darling, I got to move on to the next caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, next caller is Morgan.
Morgan, are you there?
I'm here.
How you doing today?
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good today. What questions do you want to ask?
Well, my first question is about I wanted to kind of on the tails of what you've been talking about the last week about with a lot of women, if I have any sexual trauma that I need to look at, and because I've kind of been trying to do a lot of work on, I have been doing a lot of work on talking to my younger self and doing all the revocations and things like that. And I'm still having some issues around climax and sex and those kinds of things.
All right, so it isn't that it's the negative really affecting you. These are just plain old projections from being a woman in a city. So sometimes when you are 19, the bum in the street has a fantasy of you, or the high school kid on the bus still has a fantasy of you 20 years later. So what you should begin to do is clump everything that has never had actual sexual relations with you, physical, into a single energy frequency of removal of contracts, vows, and agreements in the astral unseen worlds. So any astral sex engagement through fantasy is disengaged. Those dream worlds are cleared out. There's the advanced dream world clearing and the course that you can go and use and tailor certain parts of that to deal with sexual projections that are trying to get into your dream world, and then begin to integrate those into your regular contract revocation stuff. So halfway between the divine feminine, you can insert a paragraph that defines, your saying of no of all sexual projections, or even while you're using the shaman's death, that I'm no longer allowing any form of fantasy sexual based projections in my frequency, because I have now I'm aware of it and I cannot allow those distortions into my frequency.
Okay.
Okay?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would any other questions on that line?
Yeah, I do. Well, I just had a question about my mom who has chronic lymphocytic leukemia. I was listening to you talk about the other gentleman who, I think it was on Tuesday,
Yeah, on Tuesday.
that
Yeah.
he had CLL, and I'm wondering if I have a feeling it's not the same thing that other elder was going through, but I wanted to ask if you have any thoughts about that with my
How
mom.
old is your mom?
My mom is 64.
And what's her first name?
Her name is Robin.
I'm scanning it. How far away does she live from you?
She's in Washington, D.C., and I'm in L.A.
Yeah, opposite states. Is she willing to move out to you to get better?
Not really. She doesn't have any friends out here or anything. She's already doing chemotherapy, a targeted chemotherapy. I tried to work with her for a while, but I think I was too close, and it wasn't really the right thing for me to work with her.
Unless there's going to be a new level of closeness between you guys, there's very little you can do other than be the daughter that she expects.
Yeah.
And yes, expectations create limitations here. Can you insert other concepts other than saying there are far better cancer hospitals in Los Angeles than they are on the East Coast? That is an angle. If you could get her to come out post chemo, I think there are a lot of things that you can do with the children, the reinvigoration of the relationship of mother, daughter, granddaughter, so on and so forth. That brings life force back. As for why she has that form of leukemia, there was an era in her life where she was exposed to some very bad chemicals that have broken down her mitochondria. So mitochondria therapy is very, very, very important for her. So there are electromagnetic frequency therapies that can also begin to repair that. PEMF mats, PEMF therapy, so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
she has a poster that she used for the first time when she got it. She hasn't been using it since then.
Yeah, but if she doesn't use it every day consistently, there's pointless to have a
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah.
So there is where you're kind of stuck at. Are you going to hand and foot her through it, or is she going to actually be invested and involved into it? You see,
Yeah, I can't. I have to come
right,
back.
many people in her generation give all their power away to the doctors, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
An example in my family, if the doctor says this, it's the word of the Lord. But at the same time, there are members of my family that won't go to the doctor until they're just about dead, like that other caller.
Right.
Okay? Is your mother one of those people that didn't go to the doctor when she was young? Avoided it?
No, she went. She was anemic. They told her when she was younger, so she should get iron infusions and things like that.
Yeah. So it's now built up to a scenario where, because of the exposure to chemicals, I think it was benzene is what I believe it was. Benzene poisoning is what's causing her leukemia.
It was, I think, when she moved east with myself and my sister. She was working in a law firm. She's an accountant. And
Yes,
there
well,
was,
benzene poison comes from gas stations that leak gasoline into the groundwater, and then you begin to drink it.
oh,
As
okay.
well as the printer ink and toner from the 80s and the 90s was so highly toxic to the blood. The industry never wants you to know that. Okay?
Wow.
Now, would your mother be willing to go and see somebody that could do, let's say, a really advanced form of cranial sacral therapy?
Yeah, she would.
All right, so when you find a cranial person that's got, like, the full 5 levels of cranial, 5 levels of visceral manipulation, and 5 levels of lymphatic drain, you see all of their dots are filled in. Those are the type of people that can transform blood-based diseases and get them out of the blood and the marrow so that the human can begin a new path that doesn't re-include the blood-based programs.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So
We'll
it's
tell
not
her.
hopeless, and I don't think she's going to die from this scenario. It's really about invigorating the hope with her. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay. So earlier you were saying you're having troubles still climaxing. Something's going on there too.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that's the worry
Well,
about your mother and your children. It's all related that
Okay.
they are occupying something in your sympathetic and parasympathetic, and when you go to get intimate with your beloved, it's still there, and I'll use the best English for it. It's its own cock block.
Well, I haven't. Even before I had children and before my mom was sick, I didn't climax.
Yeah, but
And
it's,
I've been doing cranial sacral work, and I've been doing the
Uh-huh.
rotations and
Uh-huh.
doing all that stuff.
and now you have other things, traumas to remove off the clitoris and the G spots.
Okay.
So there is a time where you have to see sexual healing for sexual healing, separate of kid healing, mom healing, self healing. Sexual healing is something that you engage at a different frequency, and where you have to have your
Okay.
beloved partner, there's no reason for you not to mechanically get off. It is you and you alone stopping you. Even if you
Totally
need
believe
to,
that.
you need to enforce them. I need you to be my cheerleader, where, they won't let you give up on yourself. Because right now I see you just giving up
Definitely.
on yourself. Yeah.
Well, Rob is definitely a cheerleader for me in this region.
I get that, but there's a different level. You're not accepting his cheerleading, though. You're still giving up, 70% into climax.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Good feedback. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
So ultimately, go back and look at all of your other sexual relationships, kick them all out, and say, this is my beloved. This is who I'm marrying. Why the fuck can't I do this?
Yeah.
And make that your focus, and actually, let your kids go off to school for a week and be on their own. Let your mom be on your own and solely focus on that. Why can't I orgasm?
Okay. I like this assignment.
Okay? Okay? You may need to go and get the special tools that are out there. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
So there are
Absolutely.
some G-spot stimulators that are out there that are fully inserted inside you with just a little tiny string that pulls it out, that has it's a app, a phone that is remote controlled and apped. I would
Okay.
I would like for you to consider those types of toys. There are other ones where it's like a saddle that's a rocking chair.
Okay.
And then just go to a toy store and don't buy the cheap one, buy the expensive ones, the ones that have all the, 7 zones of pleasure built into them. And
Yeah.
it's got to be a point where you can't allow yourself to give up, because right now it's just give up energy is
Okay.
what I see.
Okay. I've been using this thing called the fascia blaster to help with my shoulders and my neck, because I think you said before that there's a lot of stuff there that might be stored and connected to this.
Yes, you
Yes,
are
you can do
like
that.
the Greek Titan Atlas holding the world on your shoulders.
Okay.
When are you going to put the world down and go and mount your husband and let go of the world and do some sexual acrobatics?
Okay. Assignment taken. I will.
All right,
I will try.
even if you got to go and get yourself one of those sex swings. All right?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. I really
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
Just really get into the frequency. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. Okay?
Okay.
And you're going to have the tips of your fingers and toes curl and ecstasy fill you.
Alrighty, I'll take it.
All right, darling. Take it easy and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, we're
Okay.
going to take one more caller.
Okay, our next caller is from Charlotte, North Carolina area.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. What is your name?
Hi, this is Dave, the traveling busboy.
Dave, the traveling busboy. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Excited, coming to Seattle.
Very, very cool. So what kind of questions you want to ask today?
Well, I think I'll follow along with some of the questions that came earlier about the health and that. I had some issues, and I went and got a blood test back in June, and numbers were bad, but I've made changes, and I think I've turned the corner on that. What do you see?
On your health
Anything
issues? On your
Yeah.
health issues?
Yes.
What year were you born?
1962.
All right, let me scan a little deeper. All right, so you have a really big hunk of, I'm just going to call it brown energy, really brown energy in your lower intestine. And I think that at some point you took on the energy of somebody else out of love, thinking that they couldn't handle something, and you're still holding on to it, which is causing a distortion frequency in your health process. And I think if you could just get that brown energy out, you would see yourself as majoritively healed already. This energy is almost like pretending to make you think you're still sick, because that's what you took from someone else. And I want to say that it's been within the last 4 years that you did this.
Okay.
And I think it was a sexual exchange in the astral world.
Okay. How would I go about clearing it? Is it like meditation, or is this
So,
colonic?
no, this is purging out of the lower intestine energy that's directly affecting the dreaming body. So you're going to need to do some form of pulling of the energy ceremony. You know how clowns pull out those handkerchiefs that are never ending?
Right.
So you're going to have to build up energy with Tai Chi, Qigong, something to that effect that sends energy to the Danchen. Large volumes. Deep breathing, yoga that's deep breathing, that's sending to the core frequency, because you gave away some of your core energy and replaced it with somebody else's distorted core energy. So it's a purging, an energetic purging, an energy colonic that's going to come out just below your belly button. And it may energetically hurt you because there's love for that person still.
Now I felt my lower Dan Chen around, I think it was probably the Lion's Gate, or that it activated really strongly.
Yeah, because it's trying to purge. That's why. It wants you to be your full sovereign I am, fully empowered being, and not carrying around somebody else's, suitcase and luggage in your intestinal tract.
Okay, because I've been, very positive and following the teachings and that, and
that's why it's come up
looking at
now.
it.
That's why it's come up now. You fell in love with someone, and that's okay. Now you got to let go of it. It's not continuing. That's it. It's not a ghost. It's not a demon. It's not the system. You fell in love with someone, and you took on a healing and took one of their energies that was very disruptive to them. And now you've got to purge it and send it back to them with love. That's it. This is not going to be hard for you. It's just going to take focus to admit, I loved. The love is not continuing, and I have to let it go so I can love again and find my clear, right, and perfect frequency of a person to be with.
Is it from guilt that I'm feeling, or?
No,
that
it
I
was
don't
it
love
was
them?
it was an in the moment thing where you felt that person needed healing, and you just did it, as a human and a higher spirit. Humans do this all the time. Being a person of energy and being a healer yourself, sometimes we become a little zealotous. Okay? It's just forgiving and purging. So what I would say is you could probably do like a 2 to 3 hour workout focusing on the core, bringing your face inside your intestinal tract, and anything that isn't your signature frequency match has to go. Okay?
Can I do self-Reiki too?
Yeah, all that. You can bring the Reiki symbols, the fire serpent in particular, the Tibetan Dakumyo, she'll work very, very well with that. It's like a thunderstorm with lightning coming through, separating what is yours and what is others. And just start pulling the energy out, throwing it into the fire or in a big, a can of salt or a big bowl of salt. This isn't hard for you. This won't be hard. You've done the good work, man. You really have. The next level here is, all right, I fell in love with someone. Now I've got to let their energy go. And I know that there's going to be a void space that I might feel alone if that goes. And that's okay. That's okay. This is where you got to be on life partner purpose. That you're going to fill that void space with who is going to be the right partner. What is it that you really want out of a partner?
Yeah, because I feel my energy and my path is opening up and clearing, and I'm just looking for that person to share it with who will be there.
Right. And once you purge that out and redefine that void space, I think your signature frequency match will come, and you'll be able to see her. Not like you were 4, 5, 6 years ago before you went through your clearing and your awakening.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
It's a really simple purging process. Then afterwards is you got to be on course for creating life path for life partner.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Are you ready to, open a business for yourself?
I'm getting there with my qigong practice is a healing practice, and some other technology that I'm finding out about to measure the human field, and that, and tie it all in together into like a wellness type business.
I would tell you this right now. If you have the money, by the end of the year, go rent a spot that has an open sign in business hours and start promoting yourself left and right. I think if you wait another year, you're going to miss the bus, Mr. Traveling Busboy.
Okay.
You don't got another year left because the awakening you're going to go through, you need clients to validate, affirm, and confirm all the years you've practiced. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
You didn't do all this practice just for, self-help and personal wisdom. Deep down inside, you knew you needed to do this for everyone in the world.
Yeah, that's,
Okay?
uncovering the secret.
That's right. And then not making it a secret anymore. And be willing
Right.
to challenge the fucking light worker community out there that says don't charge. Okay? I'm swearing for a reason because there are, let's just say, some entourage about you that doesn't allow the money for you to flow. Okay?
Spiritual entourage, or?
Yeah, every now and then we get a zealot angel out there. That they are out there. That really is enforcing you. You should earn no money for this. Bullshit. It's your divine co-creative choice. If no healers ever made money, there would never be a healer in the world. Doctors would be lawyers. and everyone would die. Okay?
Right. And I tried to look at the money, at the black magic level, and
And
yeah,
that's your big
that
fear right now. That if I start using my light and start taking money, I'll get exposed to the black magic.
yeah,
Only if
gotten
you
out of
believe.
the credit.
Only if you believe they can harm you will they harm you. Only if you let them in will they be in.
Yeah, I'm finding that truer and truer as I try and put into the hologram all these the contract revocations and just the co-creative greatness of being.
Right. And now you should be a co-creative greatness of being that has an open sign in a physical brick and mortar building. You've reached that level.
Yeah.
The traveling bus boy's got to get off the bus and and open a business.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Now there's something else here. So every now and then you get flashes of great spiritual brilliance, don't you?
Yeah.
Who do you share those with?
I have a close friend.
Okay, man, woman?
Woman, yeah.
Okay. Is there feelings that you have for her?
Oh, yes, very strong.
Is it really going to go nowhere?
Up in the air right now.
I'm going to be blunt. It's not going to go anywhere. Anywhere at all. And it's a delusion for you to keep sharing your brilliance with that person if they aren't going to be truly open with you and give back the same way. Okay? You've got some you've got some very confused love frequencies in you right now. Extremely confused love frequencies. Okay?
Yeah, I think in my natal chart, Mars and Venus square each other, so it's always been kind of a...
Yeah. But in this particular scenario, you're sharing your brilliance with someone who ultimately will never be able to give you back any of their brilliance because it's invested into someone else. You'll always be getting 10% of her. And that's it. And that's like pulling a Band-Aid off of a wound for you right now. That same person is whose energy is in that brown energy that's in you now.
Okay.
Forgive yourself. That's it. Forgive yourself. She can still be a friend, but you have to find somebody else that you can share your brilliance with, that honestly, in equal co-creation, shares their brilliance back with you. It can no longer be these one-way relationships.
Yeah, that seems to have been a repeating pattern of mine.
Right. And you know it's a pattern, and only you can break the pattern. You break the pattern by forgiveness. Brutal, brutal forgiveness. Two words that aren't usually put together. Brutal forgiveness. For yourself. Okay?
Yeah, because I guess I try and project that it'll be different, and that's
right.
what I've got to brutally forgive.
Yeah. Really forgive, so that there's no longer this distortion of she will love me, she will come out of whatever she's in, she will join me, she won't. Okay? If it is, it'll be for a week and then she'll go back. If it is, it'll be for a month and then she'll go back.
So the expectation is my limitation.
Exactly.
With this one.
With this one. And again, she's not a bad person. She's just in a relationship that makes her truly unavailable to you at what you want. Okay?
Yeah, and accepting that is maybe that's what the eclipse will bring.
You can make it bring that through the separation of densities. Yes. This is where you got to do the partner on life path process for you. Tell the eclipse what I want, but don't make your bars so high that you'll never see that person. So many people make the mistake they have to be the supermodel and the spiritual supermodel. Okay? It don't work that way. You need a person that's the signature frequency match for you, not a signature frequency match for them. Okay?
Okay.
The next thing for you to consider, you've done the healing. Now it's the inner work on life path. Meaning getting the job, and then the emanation of attraction and the attractor factor of the woman that's the signature frequency match for you.
Yeah, that totally resonates.
Okay? And again, that other person, they're not a bad person at all. They have feelings for you, but right now they're in a situation where they need to be where they're at. And there is no intention of long-term change. There may be some short-term change that may give you a few fun times, but ultimately that's all it will really be. And you can't live like that guy. You can't.
I don't want to.
You don't want to. It's just going to pull your heartstrings. That's all it's going to do. So one more little suggestion for you. This coming eclipse, I want you to write a passionate, erotic letter to that future beloved. And I don't want you to make it, 3 lines, like a pickup line. Make it like 6 pages. Okay? And I mean passionate, erotic, and if it doesn't give you a chubby when you're writing it, you're not doing it right. Okay? And do that during the eclipse. Okay?
Will do.
Allow yourself that energy. Allow it. Just allow it. And you're going to find a mystical moment in that erotic writing. Oh, thank you very much.
Where was that from?
I don't know. A random burp from a random universe.
It wasn't me.
I could tell it wasn't you. Alrighty, man. I got to move on. Thank you so much.
Love you, brother.
I love you too, and I'll see you at the event.
Yep. Take care.
Alrighty. I want to thank everyone that showed up for the show. Sorry we had some technical gremlins. So the event is going to be live in Seattle, Washington at the Marriott Hotel and right next to SeaTac. Click on the button below if you want to enroll for the course. When you enroll for the course, you will get 2 free tickets to come to the live event, as well as the solstice, the equinox, the solstice and equinox course, as well as the alchemy course. 25 hours of material. That is a 6-week online course that is the Out Loud Name It to Claim It system. I want to thank everyone that's called in. We've got an incredible show coming up this Tuesday. We'll be doing more call-ins. We'll be having lots of questions, and I'll be having a very special guest coming up these next couple weeks. So tune in to the email list, and then hopefully next week we will be simulcasting to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you this coming Tuesday.